So who here would like to have a little less pain in their life? Hands up. No, you're in the acceptance phase, yeah? And who here, no matter what they do this diet, they go on Google to look up this, they try this herbal remedy, it just seems like nothing works? Hands up. Yeah, and this can be super, super frustrating. Who here is a little bit frustrated? Do we need to have a scream therapy session right now together?
Won't help, I tried. Sometimes my throat burns afterwards.
Yeah. Next time I'm going to be bringing the anger bats. Okay? So, first of all, I just want to thank you guys. I just want to give a round of applause to you guys for coming out today. Because so often on this journey we're super hard on ourselves when it comes to health. Anybody agree? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of shoulding that goes on with ourselves. I shouldn't have eaten this. I should do better. I should know better. I shouldn't have had that love affair with that honey cruller the other day, you know? So there's a lot of shoulding on ourselves, and very rarely we take time to be like, I'm amazing. You know, especially for what you all are going through, it's intense. Yes? And sometimes just getting out of bed in the morning is an accomplishment. You know, so it's like saying to ourselves, like, wow, you got out of bed today? You're on fire, right? I'm so proud of you. You brush your teeth? Amazing! Okay? Because all the shoulds is only going to keep us in that stuck place. So first of all, I want us to say, on the count of 3, I want us to have a big, say an affirmation together. We're going to say this. We're going to say, I'm amazing.
I'm amazing.
I'm amazing. And then we're going to say, I'm so proud of me.
I'm
so proud. Yes, and I want you to turn to the person next to you and say, I'm so proud of you. Okay, and this is more important than you know, because emotions in the body have triple the impact versus nutrition. Triple. So if you eat something, but if you eat it with a lot of shame or guilt, you know, you're scarfing down those Pringles, but you're like, damn, I'm going to be paying for this tomorrow. I shouldn't be doing this. Who knows if your pain is coming from the shame or if your pain is actually coming from the Pringles?
Are you saying that's shame?
Shame probably creates more pain than Pringles.
Okay, stop the shame.
More Pringles.
More Pringles! More Pringles.
Pringles, that's right.
I just tell, I say, my body loves the Pringles.
Yeah.
They're good for me.
Right? It's very true, actually. My one girlfriend, and we're not going to go into this because I'm going to introduce myself in a second, but we went on a mission to see how many cookies we could eat and lose weight at the same time. And it was amazing. And to be honest, we would eat it with such joy that it wasn't like our diet. We were still eating a good diet, but the weight fell off.
Really? Wow.
And it's funny because I even remember the first time I decided to stop shaming myself. And to stop shaming myself. And I said, no more dieting, no more deprivation, and no more shame. And I think I lost 15 pounds from love that month. And it's really weird, like even in my diet now, I'm probably, whether you, like weight is weight. It doesn't mean too much about who you are and what you're worth. But it's interesting because even in my life, I feel like the healthiest, and my diet isn't the most rigid it ever was. It's probably the least rigid, you know? And there's more compassion and kindness with myself. And I think it's the compassion and kindness that has created the health, you know? So it's interesting. But I just want to, so lovely to meet you all. My name is Susan Stevens. I know many of you, I have seen you. I just feel, first of all, I just want to say to you and everyone that's helped out today, I feel uber grateful that you had this day. So just so blessed. Let's have a round of applause for our organizers. Right? It's like, it's just so much time and effort, and it's really appreciated. So I've been doing, I have a practice called Liberated Living, and I'm not going to go into myself too much because we've already talked about it, but I like to fuse the worlds of the emotional with the nutritional. And so usually in my practice, in my seminars, I like to do a little bit about both because they're inseparable. You know, it's like the kind of thing if you tell someone to give up their coffee and they give you the death stare. Right? And they do one of these. Right? And it's like they want you dead. Right? Because that coffee to them is much more than just a coffee. That coffee might be the only time in the day that they give to themselves. You know, it might be the only time, if they're a giver, that they ever receive. So is it healthy to give up that coffee? You got to look at this with addictions. It's not so easy as like, this is good for you, this is bad for you. Sometimes when people come to me, I tell them to go drink that coffee with joy. You know? And then after we have curiosity. We were like, okay, why are you drinking 6 coffees a day? You know, what is it about? What are you needing to keep up to? You know, why do you have to be productive all the time? You know, it's these deeper questions. So today, what we're going to talk about is we're going to do a little fusion on, we're going to address your pain levels. Because you, people, feel pain more than anyone else. And you guys have heard of vitamin P? You guys ever heard of vitamin P?
There is vitamin P.
Yes. Substance P, sorry. People with fibro have higher amounts of substance P, which is found in the cerebral, their spinal fluid. And what it does is substance P is responsible for transmitting pain impulses to the brain, right? So people with fibro, they have 3 times more substance P than other people. They feel 3 times more. This is why. So with you, it's so important for people with fibro to really reduce all those things that create pain and reduce inflammation in their body and start to get to the root cause of their imbalances, right? Because there could be many reasons why you got fibro. What do you guys feel like are some of the reasons you got fibro? Hands up. Accident, right? No. Trauma. Bad cold. Yeah. Anyone else? Trauma. I heard trauma, infection. Yeah.
Antibiotic, I think too. Antibiotic.
Biotic could be, yeah.
Chronic stress.
So stress, right? Stress, how many people feel like they almost have no stress in their life? Hands up.
You have to go to heaven.
Yeah. Right?
I had hepatitis, severe case of hepatitis.
Yeah.
Would that have, now this fibromyalgia came out about 5 years later, could that
Yeah.
have been the cause? Because it was quite serious.
Definitely. Like
I
we're
don't know how long, because it was 5 years later that I was diagnosed. So it could have been that.
absolutely. I think any kind of organ system imbalance, they always say the main things are really, if you're, you get into accidents, there's chronic stress, there's major adrenal issues, right? So what we got to look at with every single person, and what I want you to know, is there's no right diet for one person. Meaning, if for pain and inflammation, if ginger helps with her, it actually could be the worst thing for her. Because ginger can actually create inflammation in people. So it's figuring out which things are right for what person, okay? Because you're gonna go online and people are gonna say, this totally worked for me. And then you're gonna try it and you're gonna be like, nothing, I got nothing. So today we're gonna do a little bit of tongue diagnosis. So what I'm gonna get you to do before we get really up close and personal with the person beside you, you might wanna know their name first. Okay, so let's have a little sharing. Everyone introduce yourself to the person beside you. It's good. Thank you for coming out. Yeah. I forgot your name. Okay. So I broke it up into little things. We're going to just focus on the causes of inflammation and in the body to really bring that down, because it's only a short talk, so we can't go into everything today. But we're going to start with the very first place, the very first cause of inflammation. So first things first, and probably the most important thing when it comes to health is digestion, right? And have you heard the term, you're not what you eat, you're what you digest? Because, for example, this lovely lady here could, eat a meal and absorb maybe 60% of that meal. And this lady could eat that same meal and absorb 20%. So what's the difference, right? What causes that difference? And what are the foods and factors that will elevate or reduce your digestive function? Okay? So where does digestion start? The mouth. So, oh shoot, and I didn't bring my blood pouches. I'll draw it on the board if I need something. So first things first, if you have a weakness in digestion, anyone dealing with IBS symptoms here? Like sometimes a bowel that can be constipated or loose, or even just straight constipated sometimes? Yeah. So the very first place to start, even if you're getting a loose stool, is chewing. It's simple. But you know how people take enzymes to break down food, which elevates nutrients, like up to 60% or more sometimes? Just chewing your food can increase it almost sometimes more than an enzyme. So just really spending time to chew, yeah? And all the amylase, like that's your enzyme in your mouth, that it's to help to break down carbs. Does anyone get bloated when they eat carbohydrates? So if you're a person that really gets bloated, you really want to chew your food, yeah? The other thing is with digestive function, is you need a lot of stomach acid in your stomach to break down food. Anyone know what the level of stomach acid should be in the tummy? Take a guess. What do you think the pH of the stomach? 7?
No, it is a high.
Yep, keep going down. Go lower. 3, lower. 2. So you know apple cider vinegar? Yeah. It's very acidic. That's the exact pH that your stomach should be. pH of 2. Isn't that crazy? So it's super important because you need stomach acid to break down nutrients. Anyone here iron deficient? Hands up. Anyone here B12 deficient? Right? And the optimum level of B12 should be 700. So your doctor usually says, you're over 100, you're fine. It's clinical depression. But you know? So you want to be a little further up. But here's the thing. If you don't have enough stomach acid, you can't absorb iron. You can't absorb B12. You can't absorb folic acid. Any minerals, even calcium, magnesium. So when you think of inflammation, what really reduces inflammation, so one of the biggest things is minerals. Minerals in the body. The more minerals you have, the less your inflammation is going to be. So if you can't absorb it, then it doesn't matter, what you're eating if your digestion is really compromised. Okay? We're going to go around the room. We're going to check out people's digestive function. Okay. Now, people can be... Actually, let's do a little test around the room. So, is it okay if I draw on this board? Okay. Can everyone see here? Okay. So if anyone, when you look at someone's tongue, okay? Do I have to stay? Oh.
Just turn the mic.
Right? So technical. Hello. Okay, so the tongue is made out of muscle, okay? What creates muscle in the body? What nutrients or what compounds create muscle? Protein, right? And amino acids, right? So if in the stomach, if you have enough hydrochloric acid, you can break down what? Protein. Protein. All the protein digestion happens in the stomach. So people that have weakened digestive function, they don't have enough hydrochloric acid, they can't break down protein. Okay, so they get these marks on their tongue, these teeth marks. Anyone have those? Okay. When you get these teeth marks, it's a severe digestive weakness on the tongue. Okay, and it's telling you, wow, like you're really not breaking down nutrients, and you're you might be only getting like 20% of what you're taking in.
You need hydrochloric acid to do what?
To break down protein, calcium. Anyone get osteoporosis in this room? Or penia, right? Magnesium, B12, iron, zinc, right? Everyone look at their nails. Anyone have white spots on their nails? Okay? That's zinc deficiency. Okay? So if you don't, that means, and here's the kicker, is you need zinc to produce stomach acid, and you need stomach acid to absorb zinc. Right? So it's very challenging. It's very hard if you're low zinc to actually get to absorb this. Do you see? To produce more stomach acid that you need to absorb it. So it's very challenging. The other thing, look at your nails again. Anyone get the longitudinal striations on their nails? Okay? When you get those long lines, that's malabsorption. So that means that's a direct reflection of what's going on in your gut. Interesting, eh? Like when I had my son, he was stealing all my food, the little bugger. And my nails would have like deep grooves in them. And I realized I really had to up my nutrients when I was like feeding for 2, right? So people with a weak digestive system, their tongue can look a number of ways. 1, they can get these teeth marks in it, okay? Teeth marks. 2, your tongue can be really fat with a pH. Swollen. Okay. It can look really pale. Sometimes like it has a beautiful thick coating of fur on it. And in people that have adrenal fatigue, okay, we'll talk about this in a minute, their tongues are going to look more red and cracked, and it's a sign of stress. Okay, so we're going to look at each other's tongues in a minute, and we're going to see. I tell people, you can't hide anything from me. Right? But here's a couple things before we do this. Here's a couple things that affect digestive system. It's going to affect your digestion, and it's going to really increase your pain and your inflammation. Is number one, you guys might hate me, and I might have to pass the tissue box around. The number one worst thing is coffee.
You just said drink
I
coffee.
hate you.
Yes. People don't come back for sessions after they see me one time. Right? They're like, that witch. Right? The thing with coffee is,
What about tea?
okay, tea's a little bit better. But the reason is it's the caffeine. So 1 cup of coffee, the caffeine in 1 cup of coffee, reduces your stomach acid by 400%. 400. So what happens is, and it really sucks because I understand with you guys, you're so tired all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So the coffee, when you drink it, it makes you feel normal, doesn't it? Yes. So it's hard to get rid of when you're using it to feel like more like a human being. Okay? But,
Could you just repeat?
yeah,
If you drink coffee, 1 cup reduces what in your stomach?
hydrochloric acid, your stomach acid, by 400%. So it's like this. Bitter, the flavor of bitter causes the excretion too of stomach acid. Like any kind of bitters, even like dandelion, herbal bitters, right? So this is bitter mixed with caffeine. Yeah?
Oh, Swedish bitter.
Swedish bitters. And
Good thing to take.
it's good for some people and not for other people. We'll look at some tongues and I'll tell you who it's good for.
Are you saying that dandelion is good for tea?
Dandelion is on, it's we'll go into it in a minute. It's very complex. It's a very complex question. First, dandelion is good for some people, not for others. But here's the thing, is the flavor of bitter, every time you drink a coffee, it's going to stimulate hydrochloric acid. So if you drink it in the morning, it's going to reduce that acid, and then when you go to eat your meal, you're going to realize that you don't have any hydrochloric acid there. And so your body's going to try to break down that food, and it's just going to sit there. And sometimes people will get a reflux, right? Or a heartburn, or any of this, and it actually comes up. And even for metabolism, if you think about weight loss, it's like weight loss comes from a really strong digestive function. You know these guys that can eat like 2 dinners and still lose weight? My dad's like that. He's just like a machine. And my son is strong digestive fire, right? So coffee will do that. And also, here's the thing with coffee. Every time you drink 1 coffee, it increases your stress hormone or decreases it for 48 hours. 1 coffee. So it's putting you in a perpetual state of stress forever. Do you see? I know. Do you guys hate me yet?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, so and for other people, what it could really cause too, coffee, is for the people that are adrenal fatigue, anyone wake up all night long, and not just from pain, but their body like has to pee. Okay, hands up. Anybody like that? When you get that, what's happening is your cortisol is too low. That's your stress hormone. It's too low. Okay, and when you have too low stress hormone, your body reacts to everything. Okay, it's like you don't have enough cortisol to manage your stress in your life. Okay, so the littlest thing, you bump your head and you're like, God, right? Or somebody cuts in front of you and you're giving them the finger. It's like everything starts to just make you react. Right? And so coffee, what happens is coffee actually steals your cortisol. It's taking cortisol that you don't have and it takes it away from tomorrow. So do you guys want me to explain this to you? Okay. Because it's pretty crazy. And then we're going to look at your tongue. Okay. I hope you can hear me, YouTube. But So cortisol. So say you don't have enough cortisol. Cortisol is the wake-up hormone.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Thank you. No.
Okay, so say you have not enough cortisol in your body. So you drink a coffee, okay? That coffee is going to raise your cortisol. So this is normal cortisol right here. Do you guys see this? It's going to raise you up to here. So, but you should be here because you're tired out and your body says this is imbalance. So the next day you drink coffee and it raises you up to here. Okay? And then the very next day you feel tired again because this is too low cortisol. This is adrenal fatigue. Too low cortisol. So you wake up and you feel tired. So then you drink your coffee again. But then your body says, whoa, 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 whoa. This is not the right level. This is not equilibrium. You should be here. So what it does is it says, it underproduces the cortisol. Again, it goes lower because it knows you're going to drink the coffee. Okay? The body is amazing. And so when you drink the coffee, it brings you up to here. Do you see? So your coffee drinking is actually creating your fatigue. It's dropping you, it's going to keep dropping you so low that you soon, like, it's just going to be hard to get out of bed in the morning. Yeah?
So how much of a difference if it's tea?
It's a third of the caffeine.
So decaffeinated coffee?
Better. Yeah. Chocolate it's much less than even black tea. So a little bit is not going to have that big of an impact. Yeah.
And herbal tea is okay.
Herbal tea is great. So if you're used to drinking coffee, you could do like peppermint tea or fennel tea, or for some people a chai tea or something like, maybe that's a little bit black. But even a decaf, espresso is a third of the caffeine.
You must be joking.
Yeah. A latte, lattes? Could be much better choice. Yeah. Even in the store, there's something called Ticino. Have you guys heard of Ticino? Teeccino. It's a herbal coffee substitute. And it's delicious. Like, you don't have to substitute flavor.
Are you saying this will lessen your pain?
Yeah.
Okay. When are you saying to drink? Can you drink hot chocolate at night?
Hot chocolate would be 10 times better than coffee.
Oh,
Yeah,
but it's sweet.
If you use like stevia, like a cocoa.
I tried many things at night because I would like a cup of tea at night.
Yeah.
I try with milk, without.
Yeah.
I wake up with pain and swelling.
Yeah.
Last night I tried a cup of hot chocolate.
Yeah.
The chocolate that doesn't have sugar.
Yeah.
I still wake up with pain.
Yeah, because
I'm not winning either way, tea or chocolate.
no, because waking up with pain is an adrenal thing. We'll go into it at the end. It's to heal your adrenals, it can take months.
I'm thinking if it's the milk in it.
It's the fact that the coffee is drying.
Not coffee, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
I'm tea.
Tea.
And I still have the same effect.
Yeah, because the waking up at night is going to take some time to correct. It's not going to be that quick. It's not as quick as like you go off it one day, then you sleep through the night.
Oh no, I'm talking about drinking it, go to sleep and wake up with pain.
Yeah, you're going to have to do it over time. So I'm going to give you some tips so it will help it, okay? So the very first tip one is you want to try to stay away from coffee. Here's the other reason coffee is super inflammatory. It's so acidic. Like if you, for example, if you have cells, let me try this. All your cells, right, should be nice. Actually, We won't go into cells right now. Let's go into inflammation. So acidic, anything that's really acidic, highly acidic, it actually robs nutrients and minerals from the body. So coffee is one of the most highly acidic things. It will cause all your red blood cells to clump really close together. So you'll get heart issues because it will be more like, instead of like a river flowing, it's going to be more like a sludge. Okay? And the other thing is it's going to create a ton of inflammation. And here's the kicker with inflammation is unless it's autoimmune inflammation, it can come down from pretty severe to almost nothing within 1 to 2 months, if you know the right things to do. This idea that it's hard is actually totally the opposite of what I see in my practice, and I've seen over 8,000 clients. So let's look at people's tongues, and we're going to start to see what's going on, okay? But coffee, you really want to get it off. I tell people, I had a client that was drinking 30 cups a day.
30, oh my God.
Oh my God. And so if you're doing better than 30 cups a day, that's good. But even 1 cup a day is enough to impair your digestive function. That you just can't correct it. Okay? So if you start with 6, you want to go down. So everyone look at their partner, okay? And let's see if you guys have any of these symptoms on your tongue and see where your digestive function's at. Yeah? I saw a lot of sexy tongues out there. Okay. So who here had those teeth marks in their sides? Anyone? Teeth marks? Okay. So it's hard as we get older because here's the thing with stomach acid. Every 10 years, after the age of 30 years, stomach acid decreases by 10%. Okay? So it's just aging can cause it. So you're screwed. I'm just kidding. Yes, but the thing is you can really increase it. Anyone get the line down the middle of their tongue, the cracks? Who are the crack people? Okay, if you got a lot of those cracks or a really red tongue, right? And I saw a lot of red tongues, like you guys. And a lot of red tongues, a lot of the lung people. Anyone that I said, you got dry lungs, cracks in the tongue? There's a lot of adrenal fatigue going on. You know when we said this low cortisol issue? Okay? So the minute you go into adrenal fatigue too, you're stressed, all your energy is in fight or flight. You guys have heard of that? Mm-hmm. So it's all in the sympathetic nervous system, right? It's like, I gotta run from this bear. Right? It's not in the parasympathetic, you're not in this digestive state to break down nutrients. Your body is in survival. So people that go into a deep adrenal fatigue, and how you know you're going deeper is you start to wake up with night sweats. Anyone getting that? Okay, when you start to get night sweats, you're deep. You're going deep, and it means your body is like, wake up. It's like you're going the wrong way. Like you need to do less. Right? Too much doing, too much stress, too much go, 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 too much productivity, too much worry, all these things. So it's really important when you start to go into adrenal fatigue, you catch it, right? Before you go too deep. Because when you go too deep, your body shuts down. And that's when you can't work, can't function. You get inflammation. And it's really hard to get out because you might only absorb 10 or 20% of the nutrients from your food. So try healing when you can't absorb everything. You know what? Very, very challenging. I had almost a stage 4 adrenal fatigue, and I was getting hot flashes 7 days a week. My inflammation was off the charts. And just getting out of bed in the morning was an accomplishment. And it took me 2.5 years to just start to feel more like a human being.
No coffee, right? That's all.
Yeah, no coffee. No coffee. And I had to make some changes. So we're going to talk a bit about that today. So the first thing for the people with teeth marks, anyone get cold hands in this room? Cold hands. Okay? Yeah. Loose stools, really loose stools. Anyone get loose stools? You can admit it. Okay? If you get either one or you got the teeth marks, You got to cook your food. You have to cook all your food.
Why?
Anyone here love raw food?
But you will need the enzymes. You will lose the enzymes this way, right?
Okay, so
Shut up, Roma.
okay, so here's the deal. Your digestive system is like a baby. What do you feed a baby?
Apple.
Do you give them raw salads? You give them pureed food, right? Everything that's easy to break down. So that's what you need when your digestive system is really, really compromised. And it will help reduce all the inflammation because it's going to start because it's the absorption is number one. Okay? And this is coming from me who used to be a raw food guru. And I used to eat raw food all the time. And I used to preach raw food through the land and work for a raw food company. And it started getting to the point, in the beginning I felt really good. But then I started to get 3 bowel movements a day, 4 bowel movements a day, 5, 6. I started getting really loose stools. I started getting freezing. My body temperature could never come up. I started getting weight around my abdomen. I was really, really tired, and my inflammation and stiffness in the joints was off the charts. Okay? And it wasn't until like a Chinese herbalist looked at my tongue and he said, no fruit, no raw, no dairy. And it was everything I had been doing, except in this room I didn't see as many people in that constitution, but I did see a lot of people with no raw. So in 2 weeks after I changed my diet, it was like I was a different person. I started eating soups and stir fries and all these things, and no smoothies and no salads. So it's not for everyone. It's just for the people that I described, okay? Fruit is good for some people. It's more, we need a longer class. But in terms of inflammation, what is fruit? Is fruit acidic or alkaline? Acidic. What's it going to do then? What does acidic food do for inflammation? Acidic food creates inflammation. All right, we're going to go into this in 1 minute. So it's kind of like this. If anyone's like, well, what's the deal? Raw food has way more nutrients. You don't cook it. It has all these more vitamins and more enzymes and all this. The key thing is that in the West, when I was taught nutrition, it was Western nutrition. And this is what I was taught. I was taught about raw food and all this stuff. And it's in the West, we always believe more is better. Donald Trump, capitalism, Doug Ford. You know, it's like business. Everything is like more is better, right? And in the body, it doesn't work that way. In the body, it's all about balance. So for example, if you have raw food, you might have a lot of nutrients in that food, but your stomach needs warmth to bring nutrients to where they're, like you need warmth to create chi. Have you guys heard of chi? Like energy? So chi has to combine with food, and it takes it down into the duodenum and helps, and small intestine helps absorption. So you can have like all the salad, but if you don't have any chi, you know when people say don't drink ice water? These kind of things. If you don't have a warmth in your stomach, it won't move the food. Does that make sense? That kind of makes sense. Does it make sense to eat cold food if you have cold hands? Right? Doesn't that just, do you see any Eskimos eating salads? Inuit people? I mean, they're usually eating meat, fat, everything warming, right? Very warming diet. Yeah.
Is that more because of, I know the nutrients, but is that more because of the texture on your stomach, like being raw, being harsh
Yeah.
on your stomach versus the warm being, or cooked being softer, so in other words, it's not aggravating?
Yeah. Well, definitely, especially if you're getting a loose stool, think about it. You could just, if the fibers are going to irritate the stool, they're going to make a more looser, like a looser stool. And also, it's like, think about the energy it takes to break down all those fibers. That's a lot of energy. If you just cook, like people with like really compromised systems, you give them like all really cooked food, right? Because it's very broken down. They save energy. They save energy. Think if you're in adrenal fatigue, you don't have a lot of energy. You get that? You don't have a lot of energy. You have so much, they call it in Chinese medicine, jing. You have so much jing in a day. That's your life force. It's like you're a battery pack. If you use it up on all these things, you got none left. Right? Does that make sense? Don't you guys feel that? I see a lot of adrenal fatigue people in this room. So it's like you do so much and your body's like, I'm done. Right? It's like, that's all. You go out shopping and you're like, okay, now I just want to hibernate. Right? So the very first thing is just digestion. That's the one thing. The other thing is, that's why no shooting around meals. Write that down. No shooting. No shooting around meals. I shouldn't eat this. I shouldn't eat that. I should have ate that. Right?
I thought you said shitty. I was thinking.
Yeah. That too. That too. Right? Don't try to multitask. Don't try to multitask and eat at the same time.
Sometimes when I sleep on one side of my body,
Yep.
I'm extremely cold. And I turn on the opposite side, and I'm hot.
You are an anomaly.
Maybe he's lying beside his wife.
No. It's in his own bed.
Yeah. Who knows? The only thing I could think of for that is like a structural imbalance.
Most of my pain is on my left side.
That's it. Okay, yeah.
I sleep on my left side.
Yeah.
And much it is aggravating the echo to me.
Yeah.
It gives me warmth.
Got it.
But
Yeah.
if I turn on my right side,
Your heart
sometimes I'm cold.
There you go. Yeah. Does anyone else experience that? Like with their movement in their body when they sleep? What, specific sides?
But there's something about sleeping on your left side in terms of the way your organs are.
Yeah.
I just read something about that. And it drains the toxins out of your body better.
Yeah, I think so.
Left side.
Yeah, I think it is, but I can't tell you.
So maybe that's all you're doing, or
Yeah. I love you. Yeah.
But they say your heart flutters more when you're on your left side sleeping. Right? I even saw it on Dr. Oz. Yeah. It's better to sleep on your right side. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so, and it's hard for me to give tips in this class a little bit. I'll tell you why, because some things that might work for somebody could totally be the opposite for another person. So I'm going to just talk about a bit of fundamentals today. Okay, so that's the very first thing is you really, bye. Those are the main things with digestion is you want to reduce any things like alcohol is the same, like coffee. So it could be coffee or alcohol. Yeah.
Oh, meat.
Meat can be great for some people. Is it,
Meat is also acidic.
Okay, yeah. So let's go into acid. Yeah, let's go into acid alkaline. So number 2, okay? Acid alkaline levels. You guys have probably heard about alkalinity. Like, has anyone heard about that for digestion? So you want to be, it's too bad I didn't bring my blood pictures. You want to be more alkaline. Who knows what the pH of your blood should be?
7 and up.
Yep, 7. Yeah.
7.
Above 7, yeah. 7.35. So have you guys ever peed on those strips? Geeked it out on a Friday night? And you want to have those urine strips. Everyone should go home tonight and get some of those. Seriously, this is what cool people do. This is what you do in your 50s instead of drinking tequila. You have parties with like apple cider vinegar and pH strips. It's wild. Welcome to your 50s. Okay? Pee on those strips, and they should be a pH of 7. Okay? If the paper starts to sizzle and bubble, it's too acidic, okay? It shouldn't, or if it goes white, so anything less than 7, it means the blood is too acidic. So what that means is, here's your cells, okay? Hopefully, I'm gonna try to draw this further up so you guys can see. Here's all your cells. Okay? Your cells need to be nice and spaced out, like this. This here, in between, is your blood plasma. It's your river of life. It's where all your nutrients go, your Pringles, your salads, your vitamins, your minerals, everything. So if your blood is too acidic, okay, that means not enough minerals. If the food has not enough minerals, the blood starts to go, like the blood cells start to attract each other instead of repel each other. So they start to look like this. Okay? So instead of being, what happens, it's like you can't absorb anything into the cell. You can't absorb oxygen in the cell. B12, fatty acids. Fatty acids prevent inflammation. So if your cells are clumped, you can't even absorb the nutrients that are going to help to protect the cells. And do you understand? The other thing is you can't, like, absorption doesn't just happen in the stomach, but it happens in the bloodstream. So if your cells are really, really clumped, then you won't be able to take anything in. So the other things that will happen is if you have a lot of acidity, it's going to increase inflammation, okay? So inflammation looks like this in the body. So we'll just get rid of this. So here's your blood cells. Inflammation looks like this. It looks like fibrin, that almost like a web, like that. And what starts to happen is these cells, this cell needs to go to the heart, say, and it gets caught like a traffic jam on the QEW. And it's the bad news. It's the 403 at 4:30. Okay? And it starts to clump. And so instead of the blood moving, it's like a sludge. It's like pudding. That's why it's like, you know, when you sometimes get that drop in energy where you're just like, and half the time, that's just inflammation and poor circulation. So the minute, sometimes that's why when you have greens powders and stuff, you take it and just like, it just wakes you up, right? But that's the thing with acidic food. Acidic food, number one thing, if you want to reduce pain, you got to start having an alkaline diet. So what that means is, you have to have the alkaline foods are, write this down, vegetables and beans. Vegetables, beans, and fats and oils. 80% of your diet has to be vegetables, beans, fats, and oils. Okay? The acidic foods are more fruits, grains, meats, what else?
Grains are acidic?
Some of them. The odd one isn't, like quinoa.
Brown rice, a little bit.
Brown rice is like slightly acidic sometimes, or neutral to mildly acidic. So grains are less acidic than, say, beef, kind of thing. And there's exceptions. Like, I'm giving you a very generalized one because I don't have the sheets, but you can get an alkaline chart. But here's the thing is you want 75% of your plate pretty much to be vegetables. Not for everyone, just for those people that we said, right? The cooked vegetables for those people that had those symptoms. Okay? Did that make sense? Did you guys catch that? Yeah?
You know, people who have those symptoms, let's say they use the cooked food for a long time, can they add raw eventually a little bit at a time? After how long?
When your symptoms go away.
Oh, okay.
If you don't have cold hands, there's in the summertime, in the seasons, it's not, you want to eat intuitively. You don't want to take what I said here today and just be like, I'm never eating cooked raw again. You want to listen to your body, right? Your body's going to tell you. You know when you get cravings for things, you end up at the A&W burger and you don't know why? Right? There's always reasons for these things, right? Sometimes your body is, if you have these rigid rules around what you can or can't eat, it's like when I ended up eating burgers when I was pregnant all the time, I was like, I can't do this. I shouldn't be doing this. Da, da, da. Then I checked my blood, and you know what I was low in? Iron. Right? The two things I wanted, berries and beef, and I was low in antioxidants and iron. So whatever I tell you today, you're going to take with a grain of salt, and you're going to listen to your body. Yeah? Just a little bit, yeah?
So I wanted to start juicing a little bit because summer is coming. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
If you're not
Drink, like your own, like juicing your own juice from vegetables, for example. Is that okay to?
if you're not cold,
But if you're cold, you can't.
no.
Even if you warm up the juice a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to get some nutrition.
Why bother wasting the effort
So no, okay.
if it's not going to be totally healed? It takes a long time to juice.
Yeah, I know.
So sometimes you don't need to work so hard. This is the thing, actually, health, when you finally get on the right health path, you'll feel it's not as hard as you think. Because it's like, some of this stuff is kind of common sense. But it's all these diets that have messed up our brain. So this is your plate. What do you guys eat for breakfast? Oatmeal and yogurt? Okay. So, should I read meat, grain, or beans? So,
Avocado and ripe banana.
avocado and ripe, amazing! I was gonna say, everything be Ironman. So, that's my Jamaican folks at the back. So, okay, banana we said, yogurt we said, oatmeal I heard. What else? What else you guys have? Fiber cereals. Yeah. Okay, so the thing with all these breakfasts is they're all acidic. They're gonna cause you excruciating pain. Okay? You have to, hold on one second. Yeah, I know! It's true. This is why you shouldn't have came today. Yeah.
I was on oatmeal for years.
Yeah.
Every time I ate it, I was falling asleep and I had to cut it out from this year.
Yeah.
And this is why I went on the fiber.
Yeah.
The fiber cereal.
Yes. See, that's the thing with oatmeal.
Made a difference that because it was making me very sleepy and lethargic.
That's it. That's what oatmeal does. It's like it creates this clumping and all this inflammation. Same with a fruit smoothie. You know fruit smoothies? It's like the traffic jam. It's like, it's chaos, right?
Toast and peanut butter.
Toast and peanut butter. Toast and peanut butter. Yogurt and fruit.
So what are we supposed to have?
Eggs and toast. Bagel and cream cheese.
What do we eat then?
Okay? This is the problem. It's missing the vegetables. Yes.
So we're supposed to eat beans and like.
Yeah. The problem, you guys, you know Japanese culture? Where they eat, what do people in Japan eat for breakfast? Yeah. They eat a lot of soup. They eat a lot of vegetable meals for breakfast. In the West, we have this weird, right? We have to blame it on Tim Hortons. Okay? It's this bagel, yeah, you can get some soups. It's this bagel and cream cheese breakfast thing and cereal, the whole cereal thing. The problem is if you have a acidic breakfast, that's a third of your day that's acidic food.
How about if you have steamed cabbage?
I like you.
We used to have that in Jamaica,
Yeah.
and I was never sick. You cut the cabbage fine, you fry your tomatoes and onions, you saute your cabbage.
Yeah.
That was your breakfast.
It's amazing.
Callaloo, I don't know how many people know callaloo.
Yeah.
Like spinach, and you cut it up, and we had that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've lessened walk away from that. I have it sometime, but not all the time.
Yeah.
And so I guess we have to go back to the old.
The old way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were taught oatmeal is good.
I know.
We're having oatmeal, right? And yogurt. And now it's
And here's the thing, okay? It's not that it's not good. It's not that yogurt isn't good. It's that 3 of your meals a day have to be 75% vegetables to be uninflamed. Like, I don't have fibro, but for even me to keep my inflammation down, I have to take probably a couple anti-inflammatory supplements and have my meals be like that. So that's the thing. You could have a snack, like you could have an oatmeal snack or something acidic, but it's only one little small, say if you ate 4 meals a day, you want 3 of them to be alkaline, like a lot of vegetables, and then 1 you could have like an acidic snack. It's almost like, you know, the 80-20 rule. We don't want to strive for perfection because perfection isn't healthy and it's annoying, right? You'll be miserable. You'll be healthy and miserable, right? You gotta have some joy, right? But so, and I've seen so many people's blood that when they do an alkaline breakfast, what it does, I'm telling you, their blood completely shifts apart. They feel so much more energy, reduces inflammation drastically. And the other thing it does is it clears all liver toxicity. So people that eat vegetables 3 times meals a day, they never have to clean their liver. It's very rare. It's like a natural detox. So what I would eat for breakfast, if you're like, who is this freak and that eats this? And if you're a person this seems way far off right now, just start with greening up your other meals. Like, breakfast is the hardest meal I find for people to get used to.
If you eat that 3 times a day, you don't have to take your milk people?
Yeah, eventually, yeah. Seriously, I almost rarely have to do liver cleansing.
What was your ideal breakfast that you were going to
And it depends on your body. So if you're good with raw, like some people are really hot and constipated, they need raw food. So green smoothies could be one that you do where you mix a green smoothie where it's like cucumber and celery and avocado and banana and whatever. So you have a green smoothie. Another cool breakfast you could do is like bean soup with avocado. Anyone like black bean soups? With avocado and a dollop of sour cream? Anyone, what about eggs, vegetables, like a frittata? You guys know frittatas? And so you could put some sweet potato, lots of vegetables, and some eggs. But not like just a little bit of spinach. It has to be a lot of vegetables, and the eggs have to just cover it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone look at their palm. That's how much your protein should be. Or your grains. Or your grains or beans maybe could be double that. And then 3 times that is vegetables. 3 or 4 times. So that's how much you got to eat. But it could be good stuff, like, you know, Buddha bowls? Buddha bowls, you know those grain and veg bowls? Like brown rice with like yummy broccoli and cauliflower and like pesto. Amazing yumminess. Yeah?
I'm curious how you say 3/4 of your plate should be vegetable. Years ago, I know most recently, the Canada Food Guide said 1/4 vegetable, 1/4 fruit. Now they've merged it and said half your plate, each meal, should be vegetables.
Yeah.
But part of their vegetables does include a little fruit in that half.
Yeah.
By comparison, you say 3/4. Is
Yeah.
that specifically the extra vegetables for those who have inflammation issues or acidity issues?
It's pretty much for everyone. And that's why the food guide is changing, right? Because the food guide is really,
What I am saying is
Right?
the changed version is
it's better.
quantity, look at your plate, and
Yeah.
half should be vegetables.
Yeah.
Whereas you say 3/4.
3/4. Because the food guide is super behind, right? In terms of,
No, they just created it. It's brand new. It's just
no. I'm saying the food guide, in terms of a standard to go by, is a little bit outdated. Even the new one. Like it's getting better. They've updated it and it's way better than it used to be. But it's not holistic nutrition. You know, it's like it was promoted with, you know, the dairy industry and the beef industry, and it was controlled by all these things. So if you go to dietitians, you know, if you guys been to a dietitian, it's very hard to get healthy sometimes with a dietitian because they taught the food guide, and they go by these rules that really aren't right for everyone. And the thing is, it's all, what you got to do is try it for yourself. Try how much vegetables for yourself. Usually when you get enough vegetables, when you eat 3/4 of your plate, you're going to be going to the washroom do you know how many times you guys got to go? How many times a day? 3 times. The size of your forearm. The length of your forearm. Yeah, that's what the bowel doctor says. So the reason is, it's just, you need to have a lot of fiber in your body. And half the time, you know when people eat bread, it's not that the bread is so bad, it's they're just eating a sandwich, like meat and bread. If they actually had like 2 or 3 cups of vegetables and a small piece of bread, they'd have way less impact. But it's because they're not getting the fiber in there. But if you look at any holistic program, like holistic nutrition, they'll always say 75, 80% alkaline. But you know how you do the test for yourself? You eat it, and you see how much does it take to get you to P7 pH. That urine, how much does it take to get your urine to a 7 pH? Because 50% just won't do it. Yeah, it's just not enough minerals. But I say try for yourself, right? Try for yourself. Okay, any other questions? What time is it? I wasn't sure. Hold on.
Right there on the wall.
Is it? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, and here's some other supplements, okay? I'm gonna show you some supplements that you might take.
Oh, what should our mineral level be? Did we get that count?
Your mineral level?
Yeah.
I mean, you should be a pH, like a pH of 7 when you pee.
Oh, that is the mineral level.
It will test that's like your minerals in the body. And that's the thing too, if you eat a lot of protein or meat's very, very acidic. So you might need to add more beans and vegetables into your diet, or grains and vegetables, right? To drop the pH a bit. I found when I was eating like a very paleo diet, meat, veg, I couldn't get alkaline. Yeah? So I'm gonna just share some supplements, and then we'll wrap it up soon.
What about fish?
Fish is,
Salmon.
it's great if it's smaller fish. Like, so salmon, I would do it like occasionally, because there's so much mercury, and fish are saturated with mercury and radiation these days. You know, here, Fukushima gone wrong, but it's like small fish, whitefish, tilapia, these kind of things. If you're pregnant, never have any fish at all. It's too much mercury. You know, 1 can of salmon is more mercury than in a vaccination.
You're kidding.
No. Except a vaccination goes straight into the bloodstream, right? Whereas tuna has to go through digestive system, so you're going to absorb only a portion of it. But fish is good, like it's very healing. It's just you got to get the small fish, right? Here's something I'm going to share with you for inflammation. I was like, I have to tell people about this today. This is for people that are constitutions. Let's see here. They're pretty hot. They wake up all night long. They tend to wake up at night. They're not too cold, like it's freezing cold. You could still have a little bit of cold hands, but not freezing their whole body. Wheatgrass. Have you guys ever used wheatgrass? Wheatgrass, I'm going to tell you, I talked to a bunch of people today, and I probably sell 100 bags a month in my practice. And it's the one thing, like, adaptogenic herbs and stress herbs take time to change your hormones. It takes time. It takes like a good 3 to 6 months to a year. But when you work with wheatgrass and anti-inflammatories, they can bring it down fast. So wheatgrass is 70% magnesium. It's a sweet grass, okay? And it has so many minerals in it. And chlorophyll and nutrients and calcium and phosphorus and vitamin A for people that have vision issues. I love you. So this is one of the best things that people can do is take like a tablespoon of this. And I'm going to tell you, I've had clients that have had high blood pressure, right? And be on a whole bunch of meds, and within 3 months be off their meds doing like the diet and this. How much is it? 48 for 2 months. It's super, super affordable. It's $20 a month. You spend 24, yeah. 48 for 2 months supply. Yeah, which is really cheap, right? You spend.
Like wheat,
It doesn't have wheat in it though.
Is that the name of it?
Wheatgrass. This one's called Green Power. So it has like chlorella, spirulina, alfalfa, moringa. It has all of the different grasses, but they're so high in minerals. So what they do is it spaces your cells. Like all my fibro patients, a lot of them, most of them, because not everyone's same constitution, I have them on this and it brings it down. Like it can drastically remove your pain by like 60, 80% sometimes if you do this with a couple other things. So it's like, it will take your cells that are really clumped and space them all out like this. First of all, then it will reduce like inflammation, I would say by 60, 70% in a month. Depending on the cause, right? You could have inflammation from autoimmune and other issues, right? The body's holistic, so this is, just depends. But it'll start to get rid of the inflammation. The other thing it will do is with liver, liver issues you start to lose your eyesight. Liver issues, you might start to see black spots or spots in your vision. You might have high cholesterol, right? You might wake up between 1 and 3 at night. Anyone wake up between 1 and 3? That's the liver, right? So this one will start to clear liver. And it's like, that's why, and gallbladder, if anyone has gallbladder issues, gallbladder is where you get pain all through your head. You get pain, like headache pain. This is the gallbladder meridian. Runs back here, goes through here. Hi. So you could take this with like 2 cups of water in the morning, a tablespoon, and it's amazing. And it will make you poo like a champion. So you can start going to parties and it's like everyone's going to be jealous, right? Because when you get older, it's braggable, right? It's these things, right?
Now, you mentioned something about high blood pressure. What if you have low blood pressure?
It's fine.
Safe?
Yep. It doesn't work with doesn't affect your adrenals that way. It's not going to drop it too low, right? Because I have too low and I take it all the time. Yeah. The other thing, I'll just say a couple supplements. The other thing you can really do is magnesium. But 4 a day, two times a day. Like that would be like 600 milligrams a day. I would do something like that. So that's a really great thing. The other thing you could do is a good fish oil, right? Two times a day. So a tablespoon or more a day. That's a very good strategy because fish oil versus flax oil is straight EPA. It's like eicosapentaenoic acid or whatever, but it doesn't need to be converted like a flax oil. Flax oil, you'd have to take 6 times the amount to get the same result for inflammation. I would do two capsules 2 times a day, or what is that? It's like 1,000 mgs, 4,000 mgs. Is that right? Yeah, 4,000, 4 to 6,000. If you have fibro, for sure.
What about fish oil versus krill?
Oh, krill's great too.
Yeah, because you said it's kind of better, right? That's stronger.
It's great, and it all depends on what your body is, and you can sometimes switch it up. You just don't want to cheap out on a fish oil. Don't Costco the fish oils, because how you know is if you bite into a fish oil, wherever you get it, you got to bite into it. Like if you get a capsule, if it tastes rancid, it's not good. It should taste fresh. You know how fish, when it goes bad? Okay, and that's what a lot of the fish oils is happening when they
If you bite into your fish oil, it should taste
good.
fish.
Slightly, exactly how it smells. Like a good fish, it hardly smells, just a little bit, and that's how it should taste. Yep.
You're supposed to keep the fish oil in the fridge or no? After
You could, yeah, you could.
Because I'm not really sure, because sometimes they said it can go bad fast, especially in the summertime.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think you could do
Store
it.
in
Yeah,
the fridge
yeah.
after you open the package.
I think it's great. Okay. Any questions? You guys are good there?
Is it better to take fish oil, the liquid, like how you have carnivore oil liquid and carnivore oil gel?
Oh, you could do either one. Some people like the capsule because it's protected against oxidation, like oxygen. So it's like, that's what they say. It's like it's better for you that way. The last thing I'm gonna say, more for the people that had the adrenal issues, the cracked tongues, right? So if people have cracked tongues, and I can't go into this, you guys will have to come to a seminar that I do one time, and we could go into the exact cause of an adrenal fatigue and everything. But the last thing that I'll just say, this is cortisol. Remember how I said, this is adrenal fatigue. Stage 1, your cortisol goes up. You know, your stress hormone. Stage 2, you know, your kids don't listen to you. Goes up a little bit more. Or perhaps your body is tired, but you make yourself work. Okay? And then your body wants to sleep, but instead you drink a coffee. Okay? You keep doing this enough, and then what happens is your cortisol, your body says, okay, you're crazy. I can't keep up to you and your demand for cortisol. We're going on strike. It's like a teacher strike. Okay? And this is stage 3 adrenal fatigue, B, C, D, 4. So what happens is the adrenals start to underproduce cortisol. And when adrenals underproduce cortisol, it's like enough with you. We can't keep up. We're going into, like, we're in burnout mode, so we're taking a break. So when it goes down here, do you know what cortisol, did you know this hormone, it's the anti-inflammatory hormone. Do you see? So what that means is, if you go down here, you don't have enough anti-inflammatory hormone. You see? So what's going to happen if you don't have enough anti-inflammatory hormone? More inflammation. This is what I saw today, and I had to mention it to everyone. I saw it on so many people's tongues today. This was probably the number one thing I saw, is people are really in a state of stress all the time. Like, I do seminars now, 70, 80% of the class is in burnout. It's crazy. The world, don't you agree? This world is too fast and too much. So what happens here is the body starts to release water. Kidneys release water. And when the kidneys release water, what happens to the bowels when the kidneys release water? Yes, constipated. What happens to lungs if they don't have moisture? Dry, right? That's when you wake up between 3 and 5. Okay? What happens to the liver? If you think about the liver like an engine on a car, what happens if an engine doesn't have oil? It overheats, right? And this is what happens in adrenal fatigue, is your body, you get symptoms like insomnia, tinnitus, lower back pain, a moodiness. There's a lot of death stares going on. Exhaustion. You wake up exhausted, inflamed, dizzy. Does this sound like anyone in the room? Yeah. This is what, I swear, everyone I saw today was just like this. Inflammation. Heart issues, because it starts to affect the heart sometimes. Anxiety. Anxiety like crazy. You start to get anxiety all the time. Night sweats, hot flashes. So this is what I saw. And the number one thing what you have to do, well, of adrenal fatigue, the number one thing you got to do is this. Write this down. Do less. That's the number one thing, first of all, to heal it. Do less. So you know when you're tired, but you don't let yourself relax? Those moments, instead of drinking coffee, you need to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you're in a day and you're like, I got to eat chocolate because I got to make it through the day. But what that's telling you is, like, you don't need to make it through the day. You need to, like, find ways to disappoint people, disappoint more people, Say no more often and get more sleep, right? Rejuvenate. Because it's really important, because once you're here, that's going to affect every organ in the body. The one herbs that you could do, and then I'm going to stop. But the one herbs you could do is you want adaptogens. Have you guys heard of adaptogens? This is where, you guys, you know licorice tea? This is not for people with high blood pressure, but it's great. I even have some licorice tinctures up here that are amazing for people with adrenal fatigue. What licorice does is it starts to raise cortisol. So it's anti-inflammatory. And it's not just that, but it's going to give you so much energy. It's going to elevate. Here, you have no sex drive. It's going to raise your sex drive. It's going to help you sleep through the night. It's going to moisturize your lungs. It's going to help you poo. Amazing. And there's like other adaptogenic herbs, like stuff like American ginseng, or what's another one you could take? See, I know all Chinese medicine ones. Trying to think ones you could pick up. What do I have up there? So you could start with those two for now. So just like licorice and American ginseng for people without blood pressure issues. But that's a good start, is you could drink that through your day. Because that, if you don't address this, it doesn't matter what inflammatories you're going to take. You know, the other anti-inflammatories, this is like one of the root causes. Does that make sense to people? Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Any questions?
Where do you get the real licorice to buy? The health foods?
You know what? I would either do, if you want a therapeutic dose, I would do a tincture, if you can, like an actual, and this is something you're not going to be on just for a month. You're going to be on adaptogens for maybe 3 months, 4 months, 6, a year. I'm on them almost all the time because I'm always trying to balance my state of stress. And
I'm still gonna ask, where can you get
or licorice root tea. Do you guys know? There's lots of companies like Loblaws or No Frill.
it in the health food store?
Yeah, I love the
The root itself?
Oh well, yeah. I don't know the root, but try just go tea bags. But
No, I want
oh, you want the root? Go to a health food store.
health.
I get loose leaf stuff licorice all the time.
Huh?
I get loose leaf licorice all the time. Health food store, yeah. Yeah.
Regular licorice.
Or licorice tea. If you're trying to make it easy on your life since you have adrenal fatigue, just loose leaf tea or just regular tea. Yeah. I'm going to wrap up, but if anyone here is just hitting their head against the wall and like doesn't know where to go next and really wants to learn about food, because even though supplements, I'm sharing some things, food is medicine. And flavors of food, sour, bitter, ginger, spicy, these things are going to affect these ratios. Yeah. Yeah. Not this. No, it's more bowels. So this is, you have to work with emotional state. This is all, when people, to be honest, the fact that you guys have got here, this is from, well, it's from stress in life. Let's be honest. It's also from doing, and never slowing down. There's a big emotional piece here. If you had a father that was very productive all the time, a worker, but there's many, many reasons. So this is a spiritual shift when you go here. This is a change of identity. Do you know what I mean? It's hard in life to be, right? Because this is making you embrace a side of yourself that you don't necessarily like. A lazy side, the unproductive side, the side that is angry maybe more often. So it's it's an emotional thing, okay? So I'm going to wrap it up, but if anyone needs assistance and like wants to learn about food and how to change food and where to go, come for a session. Like, don't do it all alone. I do live blood analysis and I do intuitive counseling. The blood analysis, I didn't bring my posters, but you can see everything. Liver, inflammation, adrenals, parasites, heavy metals. Some people with chronic fatigue and fibro have tons of metal toxicity in their bodies. It's an epidemic these days. So even in myself, I had like, my son had seizures when he was 4. At 4 months, every time I breastfed him, he has a seizure from heavy metals. So it's epidemic. So you can see all these things. So I tell you what foods, what supplements, and then I tell you, I'll give you a meal plan of what to do. And I might even make you eat cookies with joy. So you should come. And the counseling, if you guys find your stress is medium to high, the counseling is the most important because it's hard to change the food if you're sad. It's hard to change the food when you feel depressed and you feel like one more thing has to be taken away from you. Do you know what I mean? So what I do is I work with the inner child, and I see wherever you're stuck in life, and we talk to that child in you that's reacting and that needs nurturing. And we go in there and we talk to it like, when you have anxiety, I say, sweetheart, yeah, what's going on for you? Are you so frustrated with life? Like, what does this feel like to you? Do you feel like you can never get ahead? Like nothing you fucking do is working? And we got to figure out where this stuckness is coming from and where this emotion came in your childhood. Where these beliefs came from, because these are the things that are holding you back and that need to shift. And even if there's anger, because what you have would make me furious. And if that anger doesn't have a place to be released, if there's not like, damn it, like I am so angry with life. If that doesn't get to come out, then that will sit in your body like a poison. And it will just deteriorate everything. So going to those dark places that you're really scared of going, it can be the most liberating thing you ever do. And fun, you know. I tell my clients, you're allowed to say any swear words you want, right? And they start to break into laughter because it's like there's a release of this tension, right? That's been in them forever. So it's so nice if you can go there. And sometimes the body will never heal into that little inner child in you, gets acknowledged. So you'll keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker until you pay attention to her or him. It's just the way it goes. Yeah? Thank you. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So, yes, if anybody if anyone wants my sessions and services, they're here. And if anyone, I'm in Hamilton. So I do sign up on my sheet because I might even organize something in Brampton or Toronto. Yes. So sign up, and there's this thing, if you're on a budget, do not let it stop you from coming to see me, because I exchange services with people. I have people filing for me. I have people cooking for me. I have people, I do, somebody's painting my porch this weekend, and I will do, exactly. And there's these things called sexy blood parties. Like if you get, it sounds really dark, it is. But if you get 3 or 4 people to come and do blood or counseling, I will do you for free. So I'll come to you with all my scope and all my supplements, and it's a crazy party and it's so much fun, and I'll do you for free.